Morning and welcome to the vlog. Alright guys, so I've just got to head to the library. Alright, well I've just got one interview to do a bit later on and probably just quite a bit of work. It'll be another late night tonight for sure. It's been like that all week. Okay, I've done what I needed to do in the library. Now some people have asked me, why why don't you just get an office where you are? Why go to the library? Mainly because I'm going to get a little office next year, and just for now, until that time, it's just been really good to use the library, and it's got a really amazing fast internet connection as well. Okay, so here's something really cool as well. I was mentioned on a talk show called Coast to Coast AM just a few days ago, which I had no idea I was going to be. Basically, a long story short, I feature in this guy's new book called Hacking the Afterlife, and I'm in a chapter in there because I've been experimenting with something called channeling, and I've been doing some channeling, and one of the connections that I've got is this chap called Edgar Cayce, and I completely forgot what was said in that discussion. So it was really an honor to be in Richard Martini's book Hacking the Afterlife, and here's a clip now just from the Coast to Coast show.
Recently I was on a show, Kevin Moore's show. I didn't know that he was a guy who channels Edgar Cayce, but he invited me on a show in London. And while we were doing the show, I had said to him, if you want to experiment with this idea of me asking you questions, talking to somebody on the flip side, we can try it, on the show. So at some point, I said to him, well, let's just go to your point. When you're meditating, I usually ask people if they had a dream or something, but if you're meditating, just in your mind's eye, who do you see? Now, I didn't realize that he normally thinks he's channeling Edgar Cayce, okay? So he starts talking about a guy who, died in the 1940s and lived in Virginia Beach, and his first name was Edgar. And so I realized, this guy, says he's channeling Edgar Cayce. So instead of doing the thing of what most people do is like, so what do you think about the future? I said, so Edgar, why were you so wrong about all your predictions? You were flat out wrong. Pretty much you were fantastic when it came to talking about health issues, when he would go into a trance. All kinds of people, Mark Twain.
Oh, he was huge accuracy.
Yeah, huge fame. Very successful at it. He was excellent at it. But when it came to predicting the future, California's going to fall in the ocean, 1999, all that stuff, he was all flat out wrong. And he said, well, it's because I was giving likely possibilities. And this is the thing that I talk to with people on the flip side. The future's not set. There are likely outcomes. And they may say, this is going to happen next month, or so-and-so is going to win the election, or the Cubs are going to win the World Series, or whatever they're going to say. But because we have free will, everyone has free will, they can change their mind in the middle of whatever it is they're doing. And they often do. So things don't turn out the way people predict. It's just not set. But it was interesting because he answered the question instead of denying that he'd been so wrong. So then I asked him, I said, well, you were absolutely right with your medical prognoses. So how did that happen? Were you accessing somebody over there while you were in trance who had been a doctor, or were you a doctor in a previous lifetime? And he answered, no, I was accessing a counsel. Now, that's a term I'm familiar with, but right. Kevin Moore is not. I said, okay, can we talk to that counsel? He said, sure. And so he brought forth about 7 or 8 people that he said were all doctors. So this was his advisory board. So he'd go into a trance, and he'd bring a case to this advisory board on the flip side, just like I was saying, talk to scientists. The advisory board would give him a prognosis. Here's what you do. Tell him to take this medicine, blah, blah, blah. And he'd come back and tell people to take that medicine. That would cure them. So I said, well, who are these guys? Are these doctors who have lived on the planet in the past? Like Aristotle or somebody back in... And he said, no. They're all people from different realms. researchers who work in different realms. Okay, and part of my work is not to judge what people are saying, just to make a note of it. But this is consistent with other reports I've had, that this isn't the only realm that we're in, that people do have past life memories of being on other planets. People do have past life memories of being in other realms. So whether or not this was actually Edgar Cayce talking, all I can say is he gave me new information that I didn't know, that Kevin Moore didn't know. That idea that he was accessing a council of doctors as opposed to just one person. So that's what I've been focusing on when I talk to someone on the other side.
Okay, well that was really cool to get a mention on Coast to Coast there. First time ever, so that was it's a privilege. Alright, so now just got one interview to do, and then I think we're going to have a little chat.
That guy didn't get immunity. Right.
I've done my interview now, so I am gonna head out. Wow, it's dark in here. Oh my god, it's so cold. Well, it's definitely been an interesting time, hasn't it? With Trump's victory, it certainly has sent ripple effects across America. There's certainly a lot of people coming from fear right now, in one sense. Fear of the unknown. Fear of what Trump will do, the policies Trump's going to put in place, Trump's irrational behavior, his inexperience, and all sorts of other issues that, you know, people are fearful of. Well, the first thing I would suggest is that my understanding is that we are a soul in a body, and that we are all equal. So when you look at Trump, just try to love the good parts of him. Try to see the positive sides of Trump. Now, there may not be that many to begin with, but if you look hard, there will be some loving, positive sides of Trump. And the same goes for Hillary Clinton, because, you know, you could apply that to her as well, that there is great aspects, great loving aspects of Hillary Clinton as well. And by looking at the loving aspects of Trump, you'll see aspects of yourself in him as well. And what I mean by that is, how could you just go out there and, you know, hate Trump when, you know, he is from infinite consciousness, if you want to look at it that perspective, and you can't hate yourself. You can't hate that which is you. You are a master creator, a master manifester, and you create your reality. And what Trump's victory shows is that he is not in charge of your reality. The US government or any governments are not in charge of your reality, okay? This is a demonstration of that, what's going on in the world right now. You are in charge of your reality. That's what it's also shining to you as well. So go and create a great reality, the one you want. I think it's now time for the spiritual community to come together and become one voice. That would be the better thing. Not one truth, but one voice with many truths, all pointing towards the same way. We are in charge of our destiny. Love is the only answer. And that the more love we give out, the more the planet benefits as well. So I know a lot of people out there are upset. There's a real shock in, you know, their core right now. There is tribes of fear out there right now, but you know what? It's gonna be okay. Whatever's gonna happen, and it's still to happen, this is not the end of it. This is just the beginning of something bigger right now. Trust me on that. But that's just my truth, you know. You've got to come up with your own. This is what I'm feeling, that there's more to come out yet. There's more things to happen, right? It's gonna be okay. It may be a bit rough, it may be a bit crazy, but it's gonna be okay. That's all I can say. And that you are in charge of what happens to you now, and what you're gonna do with the gifts you've got and any other things that you might want to do in this world. Where is your passion? That's what I'm saying to you. Go out, do your passion, and be of service to people. That's the best thing you can do in these times. And this is where, you know, why I want a spiritual news network one day, because we can cover these subjects in such great detail from a completely different perspective. And it will bring the spiritual community together as well. I'm going to do this. This is one of my things on my to-do list that I came here to do. I'm going to end the vlog here right now. Remember, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. You're amazing, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.